What is the origin of Shrek's donkey? Because I think I have an answer, one that is provable beyond a reasonable doubt.
In honor of MatPat being so rich that he doesn't have to host his YouTube channels anymore, I'm going to debunk one of the theories covered on Film Theory. Film Theory made a video that claims Donkey from Shrek is one of the boys from Pinocchio that was turned into a donkey on Pleasure Island.
Fucking donkey? Where is he from?
Not a lot of people know this, but the movie Shrek is based off of a children's book of the same name. The plot of the book is about Shrek going on an adventure to find a princess as ugly as himself. On the adventure, he fights a dragon,
I'll take care of the dragon,
and befriends a talking donkey. The talking donkey takes Shrek to a castle where he fights some knights and then later on meets the princess. The book ends with the two getting hitched. So my theory is that Donkey isn't based off one of the Pleasure Island boys, but I think that Donkey from Shrek is based off of Donkey from Shrek. Okay, so it's pretty obvious to me where Donkey's origins lie. But for those of you who still subscribe to the Pleasure Island Boy theory, Film Theory summed up all the proof under 7 points. Now I'm going to go through each one and explain why they just don't add up.
1. That it make him one of the very few famous fairy tale donkeys.
If you've never read Shrek, that's fine. It's a pretty basic story. The big difference between the book Shrek and the movie Shrek is the movie's humor leans heavily on parodying other fairy tales and nursery rhymes. But in the book, there aren't really any references to existing fairy tale stories. Sure, the concept of Shrek in a way is a parody of fairy tales in the sense that the protagonist goes out looking for a princess, a fairy tale trope for sure. But with the joke being that instead of a handsome Prince Charming, it's Shrek. So that it's super unlikely that the donkey from the book is intended to be a Pinocchio character, since none of the other characters in the book are based off of other established fairy tale characters. So while not impossible, it's rather impossible.
2. That he was once human.
If Donkey was formerly human, then why when Shrek and Donkey take the happily ever after potion in Shrek 2, he doesn't turn into a handsome man, but a stallion instead? Fiona wasn't an ogre at birth. She had a curse put on her as a child. She used to be human, so the happily ever after potion turned her back into her human self. If Donkey was turned into a donkey through dark magic, then the potion should turn him back into the human version of himself and not into a horse. Also, this is kind of speculation, but if I was turned into an animal, the last thing I would want people calling me is the name of the animal I turned into. I'd still want to be called by my human name, and I can't think of a more degrading nickname than Donkey. In an episode of Swamp Talk, the YouTube talk show starring Shrek and Donkey, Donkey mentions that he has a great-grandfather named Donkey Sr., who is also a donkey. If Donkey has an elder donkey relative, then I doubt he was ever a human in the first place. The Swamp Talk episode came out 4 years before MatPat's theory, so Film Theory should have watched all 50 episodes of Swamp Talk to get the facts straight.
3. Wore clothes as a donkey.
In Shrek the Third, when the trio go to Arthur's school, Donkey makes this comment about being at school.
Already starting to feel nauseous from memories of wedges and swirlies.
As Puss in Boots points out moments later, donkeys don't wear clothes. So this would suggest that Donkey was a human at some point in his life, specifically when he was a child. How else would he have been given a wedgie? Donkeys don't wear clothes, but human children absolutely do.
For fuck's sakes, the person giving him guff for wearing clothes is a clothed animal. I think whoever was bullying Donkey in his younger years put the underwear on him as an added form of humiliation and proceeded to give him a wedgie. A lot of characters wear clothes and are animals.
4. Learn to control his brain but can still talk in English.
So according to Film Theory, Donkey saying that he needs to control his donkey noises implies that when Donkey turned into a donkey from human, that it took him a while to learn how to properly speak. But at no point is it established in Pinocchio that the boys can learn to speak English again if they practice speaking in donkey form. That was never part of the Pinocchio lore. And if this was how it worked, it would completely mess up the coachman's plans. If the donkeys can learn how to speak English again, then they just tell people that they were little boys and not donkeys, and Pleasure Island would be shut down quicker than Epstein's Island. What would be the point in keeping the donkeys at Pleasure Island till they can no longer talk, if they can just learn how to speak later on again? The fact that Donkey is a donkey that was able to learn English proves that he was never one of the donkeys on Pleasure Island. Film Theory claims the reason for Donkey remembering learning to control his donkey noises means he learned how to speak later in life and not as a baby. But that doesn't make any sense. A lot of people learn how to speak a second language later in life. And on the commentary track of Shrek, it is revealed that the old lady that tried to give Donkey to the Duloc Knights was originally going to be a witch that gave Donkey his ability to speak. Though since it was scrapped, it doesn't make it canon. They did kind of recycle the idea with Shrek Forever After. Donkey could have just been a normal lazy donkey, but when his owners saw the signs go up saying that you can sell a fairy tale creature to Lord Farquhar's knights, saw an opportunity to get rid of her lazy, useless donkey. She used her witch's magic, and boom, now he's a talking donkey. A talking donkey, which is worth more money. Also in Shrek Forever After, when Shrek changes things and re-meets Donkey for the first time, he's with witches. I think the witches gave Donkey the ability to sing so they would have a radio when they were driving. That's why he's always singing. It's a part of the curse that was put on him. Donkey says he lived with Old MacDonald before being taken by the witches, and we all know that the animals in the Old MacDonald nursery rhyme don't speak. Sure, they go neigh neigh here and moo moo there, but there are no talking animals in the nursery rhyme. There's a lot of examples of animals in fiction learning to control their animal noises and speak human languages instead. Meowth from Team Rocket is one of the only Pokemon to learn English, and did it to impress a girl Meowth. And Polly from Polly learned how to talk using speech therapy.
5 was bullied in donkey form.
Okay, so imagine you're a child who just got turned into a donkey. You're thrown into a pen with other kids who are now donkeys. You notice that one of them is so scared that they piss themselves. Your first thought is to go in and make fun of that child. No matter how much of a bully you were, I highly doubt that making fun of anyone is high on your list of priorities.
The boys are all trapped there because they misbehave. So another half-turned child making fun of Donkey for being scared and soiling his donkey drawers? Totally within the realm of possibility here.
If you were turned into a donkey, why would you make fun of someone else for turning into a donkey? That just doesn't seem likely to me.
6 comes from a lore that also exists in Shrek.
It's kind of silly to imply that all the fairy tale and nursery rhyme characters exist in the same universe. That's like saying that Tony Stark and Hancock exist in the same universe because disaster movies a thing.
Hell no. I'm out of here.
Or Back to the Future being the same universe as Family Guy because of cutaway gags? Which part of Pinocchio did this take place? Was this before Pinocchio went to school for the first time, or after he meets Jiminy? I doubt the original character would wear a thong or do Mission Impossible shit. In the first Shrek movie, Fiona is fighting Robin Hood and his merry band of thieves. But how is that even possible? Robin Hood takes place in late 12th, early 13th century, while Pinocchio takes place in the 1300s. Timeline wouldn't work out if they were all in the same universe. These aren't supposed to be the literal characters from the fairy tales. Shrek is a parody movie.
7 just so happens to be the exact species of donkey coming out of Pleasure Island.
There are 140 breeds of donkeys, so odds are there are more than a few types of donkey that come in gray or brown. The fact that Donkey is a gray donkey and that there are gray donkeys on Pleasure Island doesn't mean anything. According to sources, Donkey's design is based off of a real-life donkey named Perry, and Perry is a miniaturized donkey. The donkeys on Pleasure Island are probably based off of breeds of donkeys from Italy, since that's where Pinocchio takes place. Miniaturized donkeys are from America, so the Pleasure Island boys are probably Romangolo donkeys. The kid donkeys and donkey are the same size because the kid donkeys are children and donkey is a fully grown miniaturized donkey. In conclusion, I feel like I've proven that Donkey from Shrek is based on Donkey from Shrek and not one of the Pleasure Island boys. The thing Shrek and Donkey have in common is that Donkey has been called annoying his whole life. It seems no one likes his singing, and he's an unappealing animal, a donkey, an animal that is sometimes called an ass, an insult. The Shrek from the movies lived in solitude for most of his life. When we see him interact with the villagers that live nearby, they either run in fear or they try to hunt him down. Both characters are the same in a way. They're always getting shit on, even their names are disrespectful. Donkey not really even having a name, and Shrek's name being another word for ugly. One abused and one ignored. Even in the book that Shrek is loosely based on, Shrek's parents live in a hole and literally kick him out of it. If you're gonna watch the film theory episode, knock yourself out. Just maybe skip through the first 10 minutes. It's just a lame skit, and then they waste a bunch of time talking about a fairy tale that he tries to prove as Donkey's origin, then disproves it in the same video, kinda making it filler. The story he says Donkey might be from, earlier in the video, is the Grimm's Tale of the Donkey, which is about a donkey born from royal humans, who later on gets depressed when he finds out he's a donkey and not a man, then falls in love with a human princess, and turns into a human so they can have sex. It's not explained why he turns into a human in neither the short story or the film theory. What I thought MatPat was going to say about the donkey story is that true love's kiss turned him into a man. And he was going to say that Shrek was inspired by this story because Fiona turns into an ogre after kissing Shrek, but I don't know.
So at this point, I have little choice but to stamp this theory as MatPat certified fresh.
All I know is that if this video is MatPat certified fresh, then maybe it's a good thing he's not going to be on YouTube anymore. Just kidding, obviously. MatPat is one of the original. You know, he walked so I could run from his lazy-ass film theories.
Just wish that there was something more, like one final clinching piece of evidence. Something that's a little less lore-based and a little bit more, I don't know, design-based, scientific. Brain blast! I got it!
Next week, I'll dive into how Lord Farquhar hates fairy tale creatures because he's part dwarf and resents them for being different. So he banished all the fairy tale creatures. Wait, what do you mean Shrek the Musical already retconned that so it was true? Man, I gotta make these videos quicker. You should make sure to subscribe so I can quit my fucking job and do this full time. Thank you.